The cameras flashed. The crowd froze. I mean, for over 2 decades, they were Hollywood's untouchable comedy royalty. But behind the red carpet smiles and, the $120 million empire, a silent storm was brewing. And just like that, Hollywood had a new obsession. The shocking unraveling of Isla Fisher and Sacha Baron Cohen. Welcome to StarScope Report. Join Jordan and Janie as they uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
It is, it's quite the setup, isn't it? You look at a couple that seemed completely bulletproof, and then suddenly the armor just falls off.
It really does. Yes. And such a fascinating shift in the Hollywood landscape. So welcome, everyone, to today's deep dive into the source material surrounding Isla Fisher's post-divorce reality.
Yeah, it's a big one today.
It really is. Our mission for this deep dive is to unpack a headline you've probably seen variations of all over the place. Basically, Isla Fisher finally reveals what Sacha Baron Cohen divorce really did to her.
Right, because there's so much more going on under the surface.
Exactly. We are going to look at the sheer mechanics of navigating a, $120 million split and how she's finding personal strength amidst this massive public scandal involving her ex.
And honestly, just the really complicated process of rebuilding an identity from the ground up.
Yeah.
Because that rebuilding process is what makes this so compelling. I mean, we are observing someone who has spent essentially her entire adult life, 20 plus years?
20 years, yeah.
Right. In a very specific, highly visible, deeply intertwined partnership. And when that dissolves, you don't just lose a spouse.
No.
You lose an entire framework for how the world sees you.
Absolutely. And to understand where she is now, we kind of have to look at how this foundation was built in the first place.
Right.
So they met way back in, I think it was 2001 or 2002, at what Sacha later described as a pretentious party in Sydney.
Oh, yeah, the famous party.
Yeah. They actually bonded over mocking the other guests, which is like basically the ultimate Hollywood rom-com meet cute.
Totally. It's very on brand for them.
Right. And then they married in Paris in 2010. They share 3 kids, and they were universally considered the golden couple of comedy.
Right up until April 2024, when they just shattered that illusion.
Completely shattered it. And they did it in the strangest way possible. I mean, let's be real.
It was so weird.
They posted this bizarre joint announcement on Instagram. They were both wearing full tennis gear, and the caption stated they had quietly filed for divorce in 2023, ending what they called a long tennis match.
Which is such a specific choice of words.
It is. And then fast forward to June 2025, the $120 million divorce was officially finalized. But I have to ask you about that announcement because it just felt so disjointed from the reality of a massive breakup.
Oh, it did. But that is actually a textbook crisis PR strategy.
Wait, really? The tennis outfits were strategic?
Yes. It's a tactic known as absurdist deflection.
Absurdist deflection. Okay, tell me more about that.
So when high-profile celebrities announce a split, the media instantly goes hunting for the ugly details, right? Like infidelity, financial ruin, toxicity, or whatever.
Oh, for sure. The tabloids want the mess.
Exactly. So by releasing a confusing, slightly funny image like in tennis outfits with a quirky metaphor, you essentially force the tabloids to talk about the outfits.
Oh, wow. That is brilliant.
Right. The morning talk shows end up spending 5 minutes laughing at the bizarre photo rather than, digging for the darker rumors.
They get distracted.
Yeah, it sucks the oxygen right out of the scandal and gives the couple temporary control over the narrative.
That makes so much sense. It's literally like throwing the smoke bomb.
A very expensive smoke bomb.
Yes. But behind that smoke bomb, the logistics of this breakup are just staggering. I mean, people hear divorce and they think about moving out and like splitting a bank account.
Normal divorce, yeah.
Right. But dissolving a $120 million Hollywood marriage is essentially like dissolving a multinational corporation.
Precisely. A high net worth uncoupling of this magnitude takes years.
Which explains the gap between quietly filing in 2023 and finalizing in 2025.
Exactly. You are dealing with shared production companies, complex intellectual property rights, real estate portfolios spanning multiple continents, and, really intense non-disclosure agreements.
Mountains of paperwork.
Endless. They have to surgically untangle their personal brands so that a hit to his reputation doesn't financially damage her future earning potential, and vice versa.
Which perfectly explains why she felt the need to establish a completely new physical and geographic baseline.
The big move.
Yeah, the sources detail a massive relocation. She left Los Angeles entirely and moved to London.
Huge change of pace.
Definitely.
Right.
And the sources note she specifically wanted out of Los Angeles, cited she found it, quote, an unappealing concept to live in Trump's America.
Right.
And I want to be really clear to you listening, regardless of where you fall on the political spectrum, we are strictly quoting the source material to explain her geographic move here. We're taking absolutely no political side or stance on this statement.
Absolutely not. We are just reporting what was explicitly stated in the sources as her reasoning.
Exactly. The key takeaway here is her overwhelming desire to geographically and culturally detach from her established Hollywood life.
And that physical distance is a crucial part of the psychological uncoupling, I think.
Oh, totally.
She bought a sunlit house in London with this weeping willow tree in the backyard, which she actually described as feeling like kismet.
Kismet, I love that word.
Yeah, she hired a designer to make the space warm, casual, but still glamorous and theatrical. Like, she is actively curating a physical environment that reflects her individual identity.
Separate from the whole comedy power couple aesthetic.
Exactly. She is building her own sanctuary.
But, curating that new life doesn't necessarily insulate you from the shock of it.
No, the grief still finds you.
It really does. And there was this one cinematic detail from the reports that just stopped me in my tracks.
The furniture moment.
Yes. She described the exact moment her new furniture arrived at this beautiful London home. And she just broke down and cried.
Oh, it's so visceral.
Because looking at those boxes, the reality finally hit her. I mean, it was her first time as a single woman in her own home.
Imagine having to dismantle the entire foundation of your life after 20 years.
It's unthinkable.
Every shared friend, every financial asset, every daily routine, it's all just gone. You aren't just moving houses, you are completely starting from scratch.
Yeah.
She referred to this in the sources as joining the divorce club. She described the unique, isolating grief of divorce as the most difficult thing she's ever been through.
It sounds incredibly isolating. But then you see how she presents herself publicly, and it's a totally different vibe.
Oh, completely different.
Right. This is the same woman who recently went viral on her Instagram story, declaring that 80% of women are against marriage nowadays because, quote, it's not worth buying an entire pig just to get a little sausage.
Yeah. I mean, it is objectively hilarious, and the internet absolutely ate it up.
They did. They were all over it. And people are calling that joke a sign of her immense resilience.
They are, yeah.
But honestly, I have to push back on that narrative a little bit.
Oh, really? How so?
When I read that, it sounds a bit bitter to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels less like she's wearing armor and more like she's lashing out from a place of deep hurt, like a classic defense mechanism to shield that raw grief of the divorce club she admitted to.
It is very easy to read it that way, especially given the rawness of the split.
Right.
But if you look at her history, the mechanics of her humor start to make sense.
Okay, what do you mean?
Well, the sources note she moved around constantly as a kid. She lived in Oman, Brunei, Australia.
Oh, wow. All over the place.
Yeah, she was perpetually the new kid. So she used wit and comedy as a survival tactic to make friends quickly and avoid being the outcast.
Ah, okay.
So she isn't necessarily lashing out maliciously. When she is faced with the ultimate displacement, the loss of her home in the form of this 20-year marriage, she reverts to the only tool she trusts to stay in control of a narrative.
Because she probably feels completely powerless otherwise.
Exactly.
Okay, that context completely flips the script for me.
She's using comedy to orchestrate how the public perceives her pain, so they don't just see a victim.
Yes. She is holding the grief and the humor simultaneously. And it takes incredible strength to maintain that balance.
A strength she actually openly acknowledged, by the way. She told E! News she realized she is much stronger than she ever thought she was.
Which is a huge realization.
It is. But you'd think dividing $120 million and surviving the emotional toll would be the hardest part of this whole ordeal.
Oh, you would think.
You'd be wrong. Because untangling the money and the houses is really only half the battle. You see, the real danger for a Hollywood power couple is when the ghosts of their past start haunting the present.
And this brings an entirely new layer of complexity to an already fraught situation.
Oh, it really does. And hey, if you're loving these Hollywood twists, make sure you subscribe. We've got even crazier stories ahead.
Because it's about to get messy. It really is. Because right as Isla is trying to find her footing in London, a massive scandal detonates. Let's talk about the memoir that shook a marriage and sparked a war of loyalties.
The Grimsby fallout.
Exactly. I'll set the stage here because the timeline is crucial for you to understand. Right before the divorce became public knowledge, Rebel Wilson released her memoir, Rebel Rising.
Right.
And she dedicates a significant portion of it to calling Sacha Baron Cohen a massive a-hole. She explicitly accused him of demanding inappropriate acts on the 2016 set of their movie, The Brothers Grimsby.
And we have to look at the mechanics of Cohen's retaliation here because his PR camp went into absolute overdrive.
Oh, they mobilized immediately.
They didn't just issue a standard denial. They released 9 anonymous witness statements.
Oh, wait, 9.
9 of them, yeah, including one from a producer, just vehemently denying Rebel's claims.
That is wild.
They even took the rare step of providing script evidence to the media, trying to prove that the explicit act in question was written into the script well in advance and wasn't some spontaneous demand.
So Sacha is in the middle of this massive, career-threatening PR crisis.
Yeah.
It's a 5-alarm fire.
Exactly.
And right amid all of this chaos, Isla gives a prominent interview to the Sunday Times.
Yes.
And does she defend the father of her children? Does she back his PR team's narrative?
No.
No. She pivots completely. She spends the interview praising the power of female friendship and says she's only surviving because of the women in her life.
Which, in the vacuum of a normal, everyday divorce, is a lovely, supportive sentiment about leaning on your friends.
Sure, yeah.
But Hollywood breakups do not happen in a vacuum. Everything is coded.
Everything.
The sources reveal Cohen was reportedly fuming and furious reading Isla's interview.
He allegedly felt utterly betrayed.
And you can understand why from a strategic standpoint. I mean, in Hollywood, public loyalty is a heavily traded currency.
Oh, absolutely.
When you are under fire, silence from your former partner is deafening. But praise for the exact demographic that is currently accusing you women in the industry is viewed by crisis managers as a tactical strike.
A direct hit.
Yeah, he allegedly felt that her praise of women was a blatant public statement that she was siding with Rebel Wilson.
You know, it makes me think of a high-profile corporate merger dissolving. Imagine you have 2 CEOs splitting the assets.
Okay, yeah.
And just as they're untangling the final contracts, a massive, scandalous lawsuit hits one of them. How do you possibly separate your private, amicable uncoupling from a public PR nightmare?
It's impossible.
It is. Every single word Isla said in that Sunday Times interview was going to be analyzed by the public through the lens of Sacha's scandal.
That analogy is spot on. It really highlights the concept of collateral PR damage.
Right.
Because does she owe him public loyalty when they are already privately dissolving their marriage? The timeline was just incredibly messy.
Super messy.
They filed quietly in 2023. The book drops and ignites the scandal in early 2024. The divorce goes public, and then it isn't finalized until 2025.
This huge overlap.
Right, so they were trapped in this liminal space where they weren't fully untangled yet. And as you pointed out, she chose to lean into her female friendships for strength, which inadvertently, or perhaps very intentionally, sent a massive signal to the public that she was distancing herself from his crisis.
And the bad blood seemed absolutely permanent at this point.
Oh, yeah.
You have a furious ex, a sprawling public scandal, a very messy timeline. But later in this deep dive, we'll talk about the shocking twist nobody saw coming on a very important 50th birthday.
The unpredictability of these high-stakes relationships never fails to surprise.
It really doesn't. And that brings us to Isla's next chapter. Because she is refusing to just be a tabloid headline or a footnote in someone else's scandal.
She really is.
At 50 years old, her career is experiencing a massive, unexpected resurgence.
She is actively reclaiming her artistic autonomy.
She absolutely is. She dedicated years to raising her kids, a time she actually described in the sources as divine and magical. But now she's taking on roles way outside her traditional comfort zone.
Yeah, the roles she's picking are really interesting.
So interesting. She is starring in Lorna Tucker's directorial debut, Bear, playing a young runaway on the gritty streets of London. The sources describe it as a visceral survival story.
Not a comedy at all.
Not at all. Then she's prepping for Now You See Me 3. And get this. She practiced a single sleight of hand magic trick for 8 solid weeks. Just to get it right.
8 weeks for one trick.
Yes. Plus, she's starring in a female-led comedy called Spa Weekend.
Let's unpack the psychology of those career choices because it is a deliberate pivot.
Okay, yeah.
In her Harper's Bazaar interview, she admits she used to be risk-averse. She operated within a sort of Hollywood algorithm. You nail a specific type of comedy character, the quirky, funny love interest, and casting directors just keep offering you the same thing over and over.
It's safe and it's lucrative.
Exactly, but it's creatively stifling.
Right.
But now, she is purposefully breaking the algorithm. That 8 weeks of practicing a sleight of hand magic trick, that isn't just about acting.
What is it about then?
It speaks to a deep psychological desire for mastery and control over her own output. When your personal life has been chaotic and out of your control for years, you find stability in mastering a skill.
Oh, wow. That makes so much sense.
Yeah, she is pushing herself into areas of growth where she holds all the cards.
I love that insight.
Yeah.
She is literally and figuratively mastering the illusion.
Yes.
And she's moving on in her personal life, too.
Yeah.
In January 2026, she was spotted vacationing in Barbados, posting these cheeky photos of a mystery man's feet and some tropical cocktails.
Just completely unbothered.
Totally unbothered and living her life.
Which is exactly what makes the next event so incredibly jarring.
Right. The twist we teased earlier.
Yes.
On February 3, 2026, which happens to be Isla's 50th birthday, Sacha Baron Cohen suddenly breaks his silence.
And he doesn't do it through a publicist or a quiet text message.
No. He posts a photo of her in an oversized blue sweater directly to his Instagram for the whole world to see. And he writes, quote, "Happy birthday to the funniest, most joyful person, a brilliant talent, and a fantastic mom. May the next decade be even better."
The internet was completely stunned.
Floored. I mean, fans were flooding the comments with things like, "Did not see that coming," and he's picking up the pieces.
Right.
So I really want your take on the PR mechanics here. Is this public birthday post a genuine white flag for the sake of their 3 kids? Or is it a calculated PR move to soften his image after the Rebel Wilson fallout?
That is the ultimate debate among PR strategists right now.
I bet.
If we look at it purely through the lens of a cleanup campaign, the strategy is obvious. Cohen is still nursing a bruised reputation from the Rebel Rising scandal. He needs to reestablish himself as a magnanimous, forgiving family man.
Sure.
What better way to generate positive sentiment metrics than publicly praising the ex-wife who the media claimed betrayed him? It immediately softens his edges.
It definitely scrubs the image clean. It makes him look like the bigger person.
But we also have to weigh that against the concept of a genuine co-parenting truce.
Right.
If we look at Isla's stated goals in the source material, we find another very real possibility. She explicitly told the Times that her own parents had a very harmonious divorce, and she desperately wants to mirror that exact dynamic for her children.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It is. She said they are actively building a new, healthy version of their family. So it is entirely possible that behind the scenes, away from the PR teams tracking Instagram engagement, they have actually done the grueling, unglamorous work of finding peace for the sake of the kids.
So it might just be real.
Yeah, the post might just be the public manifestation of a very private, hard-won harmony.
That's a really hopeful way to look at it. It shows that even after a $120 million split, a sprawling PR nightmare moving across the globe, 2 people can actually recalibrate their dynamic.
They can, yeah.
And hey, if you want to keep tracking how these massive celebrity shifts play out, stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next in the ever-shifting world of pop culture.
Because there is always a new chapter being written, and the mechanics behind it are always evolving.
Always.
And this actually brings us to a really compelling thought to leave you with. We've spent this deep dive analyzing how Isla shed her old life, right?
Yeah.
She noted she used to be risk-averse in her career, safely playing the reliable comedy wife. But now that she is completely unbound from her past identity, unbound from that 20-year marriage, and free from the constraints of being half of a high-profile Hollywood power couple.
What happens next?
Exactly. What happens when a naturally funny, deeply resilient woman decides to be totally fearless?
That is the million-dollar question.
Will we see her take on dark, psychological thrillers, gritty, unrecognizable dramatic roles that completely shatter the mold Hollywood put her in for 2 decades?
Oh, I would love to see that.
Right. When the armor of humor is no longer her only defense mechanism, the artistic possibilities become completely limitless. It is absolutely something to keep an eye on as she steps into this next decade.
I have goosebumps.
Yeah.
It really puts a new spin on everything we've discussed today. It's like we started this deep dive looking at the murky, jagged lines of a broken marriage, trying to read an X-ray that made no sense.
Yeah.
But now, the picture is clearing up. The break happened, yes, but the way the bone is resetting, it might just make her stronger and more compelling than she ever was before. You've been listening to StarScope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.